Okay, so this is the Audi it's already beeping at me, amazing. It's the Audi Q6 e-tron S-Line e-tron, I've said e-tron already. It's the Q6 e-tron Performance, basically. Let's get some specs out of the way very quickly. It has a 225 kilowatt battery, which offers 306 PS of power, 485 Newton meters of torque, top speed 130 miles an hour, 0 to 62, 6.7 seconds. This has a few extras on it, so it's got the plasma blue metallic paint. That's very noisy, that's going to be annoying for you. Let's turn that down a bit. The sound and vision pack, which is £3,000, and a storage and luggage compartment pack for £265, whatever that is, bringing the total for this particular car to around about £75,000. The on-the-road price for the non-extras one is £70,700 in the UK, which is quite a lot of money, isn't it? But then cars these days are very expensive. Overnight, I've charged it to 100%, and it's telling me I've got 323 miles, which is the most mileage I've had from an SUV like this before. We've got a BMW iX1 that has a maximum range of about 250 miles, I think. But today I've got to drive to London, so what I'm going to do is be very daring and not put on the eco mode. I'm just going to drive basically in balanced. So there's several different drive modes in this car. I'm going for balanced, and we'll see how it goes. Just see, because Audi are basically saying that this Q6 is a bit of a performer when it comes to the range. So let's put it to the test. Aerial way is what I want. And it's telling me that's going to take me 1 hour. Ooh, that came out of the, I swear that spoken guidance came out of the headrest then. Weird. Anyway, it's going to take me 1 hour 46 minutes, 91 miles. So a total journey there and back of about 180 miles. And we are off. I'm a little bit I don't know if you can hear that on this mic, but there's a speaker in the headrest. I can hear the route instructions coming from the back of my head, which is interesting. That's something to ponder, isn't it? Why isn't it just coming out of the stereo? It's like there's someone behind my head telling me where to go. Now, if you've not seen one of my reviews before, this might be a bit of a surprise, perhaps. You might be thinking, why isn't he just talking about all the specs? And well, I've spoken about the specs, but why isn't he doing this like Car Wow, Matt Watson? Well, that's because Car Wow exists, and I'm going to have to turn off that guidance. Right, I've turned off the headrest lady because she was getting on my nerves. That's a bit weird. There are lots and lots of car review channels out there, and my reviews are a little bit different because, one, I don't do much research. This is the car review that you watch when you've watched all of the other ones where they go into real detail about the vehicle. If you just want to know what it's like to drive and what it's like to own for a bit, I mean, we tend to get these press cars for about a week. Hopefully I can give you some, or offer you some value there. Back to the headrest lady. That's a classic example of a new thing in a car, which I'm not convinced we need, really. I'm not speeding. I'm honestly not speeding. Why isn't she coming out of the stereo? I don't know. Is it better having... Thing is, for new stuff to be put into cars that we haven't had for decades, historically, the spoken guidance for your sat-nav comes out of the main stereo speakers. For them to change that and do something different, it has to be genuinely beneficial, and not just a kind of, ooh, that's cool. One thing I will say about this Q6, I have been driving actually for the last 2 days. This isn't my first drive or anything, but the one thing I did notice immediately, and I've definitely noticed today, now that I've got the sat-nav running, is it's got the best heads-up display I've ever seen. I will try and get some footage of it, but it's very difficult to. Obviously, I won't do it when I'm driving. As I'm looking at it now, I've got obviously my speed, I've got the current speed limit, I've got the turn-by-turn directions. But what happens, there's some very nice animations. So the route guidance kind of sweeps in with arrows showing you where you need to go. The upcoming speed limit, if it's changing from 30 to 40, for instance, the 40 kind of swoops in and swallows the 30. There's a balance here between being very, very helpful and being a bit distracting. That is the same problem with any heads-up display, but this is the best one I've ever seen. It looks absolutely fantastic. The price of this car, firstly, I've not owned an Audi for quite a while. I'd forgotten that when you buy an Audi or a BMW, and we have bought a BMW fairly recently, to be fair, I still had forgotten that you just don't get as much in terms of extras that you do with certain other brands. So again, I'll mention BYD because they are most recently in my memory. You get so much for your money in those cars. The same thing with Tesla. You get most things as standard. So when I get back into an Audi or a BMW that has had maybe a few extras added to it. So this has the stereo and the paint, etc. But I just forget that you don't get the other things that you get on these newer brands. So for instance, no sunroof, no panoramic sunroof in here at all, which is problematic for me because normally I put one of these cameras on the sunroof and have that kind of rear view angle for you, which I can't do in this car because I can't attach my camera to that roof lining. That was a bit of a surprise. The other surprise was the lack of electronic adjustment on the seat. So it does have the lumbar support. Any other adjustment that I want to make to the seat, I have to crank things. It's got a twisty thing that you can, you have to twist left and forward and backward to move the seats forward and backward. I just think for a 70 grand car, it could be a little bit better spec. But that is Audi, that's BMW. You still in 2025 have to add those extras. And I guess if you're leasing the car or whatever, most people get these cars on finance, don't they? You're not going to notice a huge difference if you just add a few things on. But the more cars you drive, the more you just think, come on Audi, give us a little bit more. Let's talk about the interior though, because it's a nice place to sit. I do like Audi interiors. They kind of, at the moment, they're doing that very smart thing of combining a buttonless operation with some buttons. So we still get some stuff. So we have the volume control down there, which to be fair you get on most cars. We have a proper drive select down here. We have a parking brake button. That is about it. Let me retract that. There are a few things missing that I'd like to see here. We still don't have heater controls. But anyway, that's just modern cars. That's what you get. But in terms of the quality of the interior, it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. The leather is very nice, I like that. Some of the plastics are great, no problem. Some of them feel a little bit cheaper than they should do. One of my biggest bugbears with modern cars, we've got this on the BMW iX1 as well, is the quality of the indicator stalks. I think that is quite a good indication of some of the cost-cutting measures that go into modern car design, and they don't feel great. Stowage, there's not a huge amount. There's no like bin down here, which you get on a lot of new cars. The armrest is okay in terms of storage. There's a little thing down here where that Audi mug thing is that you can put stuff into. Door pockets aren't a bad size. They're quite deep, actually, to be fair. I don't like this. Audi, what is going on here? This thing here, which covers the two drinks holders that you get, does feel cheap. Don't like that. And also this glossy thing, which again is something you get in a lot of modern cars, looks beautiful when it is cleaned and everything, but it does pick up scratches. This one is a bit scuffed already. It's quite a new car. That said, things do get better, like I say, with the heads-up display, which is very, very nice. The displays, the main displays, are lovely. Among the best I've used, I think. The main one here on the left-hand side, which has the sat-nav, etc., is just big enough. It's not too big. It doesn't tilt and flip and twist and do all that stuff because we don't need that to happen. It's just there, it's angled perfectly towards me, and it's big enough. And the system itself is pretty intuitive. I mean, you will use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, like most people do, so you're probably not going to experience the main system, but it's pretty straightforward to use. I really like the display behind the steering wheel. It's fantastic. The sound system is by Bang & Olufsen. That is an extra on this car, like I mentioned earlier. I'm a big fan of B&O. They make some very nice headphones and very nice audio gear, so you're in good hands with that, and it does sound very good. I did find that I needed to EQ it a bit just to get it to my liking, but there's a fairly decent EQ in there as well. The one thing I'm not sure about is whether or not that over here is a second display. I've not sat in the passenger seat yet, and I've only had this car for a couple of days, so I've not properly tested it, but I will sit in that seat on the way back, I think, and we'll see if it looks like it's a display, because otherwise it's just a great big glossy black panel which isn't doing much. The other thing that I like about the interior, and it's a bit pointless, but that's partly the reason I like it, I like pointless tech, particularly when it's just put there clearly to look impressive, is the light strip that goes along the very front of the dash. And it does two things. Well, two things that I've noticed so far. One of them is that it indicates, so if I start indicating left or right, on either side of that light strip, it does the little indication thing. The other thing it does is when you're charging the car, it gives you a visual indication of how much charge is in the car and the top up that it's doing as well. So you have like the green line is, I think it's how much battery is, you know, has been charged, and then you have this kind of other flashy green bit which is replenishing the battery. Completely pointless, totally pointless, but I like that sort of stuff. It's a comfortable cruiser, actually. I've been on the motorway now for about half an hour, and not too much road noise, not too much tyre noise. That is an issue with a lot of EVs because they're so quiet otherwise. Let's quickly talk about performance, because this is the performance Q6. Like every EV I've driven, it's fast. Particularly when you put it into dynamic mode, it's just put your foot down and off you go. Immediate torque, immediate power. What I will say about the kind of power delivery in this Q6 performance is that it's very progressive. It's not really throw your head into the back of your seat. It's much more refined than that. It's a very quick car, and it will get you out of trouble in pretty much any situation. Off the line, ridiculously fast. It will probably smoke most supercars, like most EVs. On a motorway like this, if you need to take over, you can do it. If you're on a back road and you need to overtake safely, no hassle whatsoever. But it's not going to give you that kind of Tesla computer game, whoa, you know, that kind of thing, which it doesn't need to. This is an Audi, it's a Q6. It's for people who want refinement. They want speed as well, and they want to have the knowledge that power is there on tap. It's quite a dynamic drive as well, particularly if you put it into dynamic mode, because it sharpens everything up. But even in the standard, what do they call it, balanced mode, it feels very taut. The steering is incredibly sharp, incredibly responsive, almost too much, a little bit too darty occasionally, but it's quite an engaging drive because of that. It's quite a lot of fun to drive on those back roads. The other thing I have to talk about is the driver assist stuff, which I mentioned earlier, and you have heard occasionally in this review. It's the bings and bongs and stuff. I've got very angry in the past about this in certain of the reviews. I'm not going to today because, well, one, because they're not too bad in this, to be fair. Thankfully, Audi have seen it fit to put a button down here to get you straight into that driver assist stuff. But the fact that button exists, and it's one of the only buttons they've chosen to put down here on the center console, says everything about the nanny state we live in these days. Okay. This is a real test for it because it's a very tight car park, this. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't feel too bad. In fact, although this is a relatively big EV, it's relatively large, isn't it? It doesn't feel too big. It feels pretty nimble, I think. And that steering, that sharp steering that I mentioned earlier, at low speeds is very nice, actually. While we're driving at this speed, I might as well do a quick sit rep. So we've done 91.5 miles, I'm at the destination, and we have 222 miles left in the battery. This is the easiest drive I've done to this location. I've done it many, many times in several different EVs. It's by far been the most stress-free in terms of range anxiety. There's been no range anxiety, basically. Okay, while I'm reversing into this car park space, I can confirm that it has an overhead car parking camera, which is nice. In fact, let me just very quickly show you it here. We have excuse the banding, that's just the camera. But yeah, you have the overhead view there, which once you've experienced one of these overhead parking things, you don't want to go back, trust me. And then obviously we have the camera as normal. So that was such a simple, easy, comfortable drive. Right, while I've parked up, let's just have another look at the look and feel of this car from the outside. It is chunky, look at it. Look at the size of that fake grille, absolutely massive. But quite imposing in a nice way. We've got the e-tron branding there. Down the side, because this is the S-Line, we have the S-Line badge as well. Obviously, there is an S on the steering wheel as well, which I will show you in some different footage. It does have this electronic, if I can make it work, there we go, an electronic flap for your charging port, which is quite fancy. I do like that, although it's only got the, hang on a minute, is there another one? Yeah, we have another one on this side, so I'm guessing on this side we must have the super fast. Yeah, we do. We have the DC. Can we close it? Do you press one of these buttons? Or no, you just do that. There you go. Nice. So yeah, from the rear, I like the light strip. Very Audi. These are the black trims, which I like. We do have a great big e-tron logo down here. It's a decent looking car. It's big and imposing without being too big and imposing. There's also branding here. We get the Audi and the Q6 e-tron stuff there. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the design of the Q6. I'm off to do a podcast, then I'll come back here, we'll drive home and see how that range continues, because at the moment it's really good. Okay, we are back on the road in horrendous London traffic as always, and sit rep in terms of range, we have 198 miles in the tank and 91 miles to do. So assuming there won't be any disastrous requirements for lots of energy on the way back, which there shouldn't be, although I am blasting the air conditioning, I think we're going to be fine. And it's at times like this that I always start thinking about who would buy this car. It's unmistakably an Audi. It's got that premium feel about it. Inside the cabin, like I say, there are some issues I think in terms of quality, but actually they're few and far between. I think overall it's still a very nice place to sit. I think if you've earned your money and you've bought this, or you've leased it through your business or whatever, you can get into it each morning and just think, I've bought this through my own hard work and it's a nice thing to have. I'm happy I've got my Q6. Equally, you may look at this and think, 74 grand this one is. £74,000, and we don't have that panoramic sunroof, we don't have the electric adjustments for the seats. I don't know, it just adds to the, I wish it had a few more things going on. All you're doing as a reviewer quite often is helping someone justify the purchase they've already made. That happens a lot. Or the purchase they've already decided. You're probably watching this by now, having watched all of the other videos about the Q6, thinking, I want it. I just want that last indication that I'm doing the right thing, and I may or may not have given you that today. Okay, and stop. We've reached our destination. I have 94 miles left in the battery. In terms of the mileage that we've done 184 miles, and we still have those 94 miles in the tank. I'm pretty happy with that. But before I go, I do need to work out if that is a screen. So let's go into the passenger side. So if I go into the settings, let's have a look. Display. Screen there. Screen there. Is this a screen? Brightness. There's nothing there. I could just ring Audi, I suppose. I mean, we do have a contact at Audi, but it is, well, it's 8:30 p.m. He won't be available. Do you turn it on somewhere? There must be something in here that means I can turn it on. I know some of you are just screaming away in the comments now. I'm going to give up on that. Guys, this has been a possibly quite a long and weird review of the Audi Q6 e-tron Performance, but I do like it, and actually sitting from here it looks even nicer. It looks like a really lovely cabin, because it is. It's just very expensive, 74 grand, but it should be on your list, I think, and it is on your list. If you're watching this video, you're thinking about this car. Excuse my lens. Anyway guys, I'm going to sign off now. Let me know what you think about the Q6 in the comments, and let me know what Audi you want me to review next. What do you want to see next on the channel from Audi? We can hopefully try and get hold of one. But hit subscribe, hit like, tell your mates, do all that stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.